Just about anyone in any climate can start seeds indoors at this point. It's about 6 to 8 weeks is generally the rule before you put them out. That puts us in June. Even in some of the colder climates, in June, you're past your last frost date. Not everyone. There's also a lot of people who can direct sow into the garden. So no matter what climate you're in, I'll tell you what you can start from seed outdoors right now in April. Hey, I'm Brian with Next Level Gardening. If you're looking to join an online garden community that offers tips, tricks, and support to help take your garden to the next level, you're in the right place. Get started now by clicking subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss anything. Now let's get growing. Let me know in the comments where you're from, and if you know your last frost date, put that in the comments as well. Today we're going to be talking about what can be direct sown outdoors in April. And that list is going to be a little bit different for everyone. I have a free download on my website that you can put your last frost date in. It lists all the vegetables and things that you would like to grow during this time of the year. And just putting that last frost date in, it will automatically calculate when you would have needed to start them indoors and when it's safe to either sow them outside or put your transplants outside. I'll put a link down below to my website, and then you just have to click on downloads. All right, so let's start with some cool season crops. Now, some of us can't plant very many more cool season crops because we are in a climate that gets too warm too quick at this point in the year. The worst crops for that are the long growing crops, things that take a while to mature. So cabbages, cauliflower, broccoli. Here in a mild climate, it does not do well in temperatures over 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So if it takes those crops at least 3 months from seed to harvest, then that puts us in mid-July. So if your temperatures in July are 75 or below, then it's okay to go ahead and sow seeds of cabbage right now. If you want to shave a month off of that, you can get some garden center transplants of these things and plant those out, and those will be ready for you probably in June. So if your temperatures are lower than 75 or 75 or lower in June, you can go that route. Cool season greens can be sowed right now outdoors by just about everyone. They're frost hardy. You'll want to go with leaf lettuces if you are in an area that warms up like June where it's over 75 degrees, because lettuces especially will bolt at that time and you won't get any head lettuces out of them. But leaf lettuce, they'll be ready in like a month to start picking, and you can pick them until they start to bolt. Could give you 2 months of harvest. Spinach, it is best in cooler climates. It really doesn't do well at all in 70 to 75 degrees or above. There are some heat tolerant or long-standing varieties. Sometimes it'll say long-standing. There is a hybrid called Carenta, or it's sometimes called Canadian Green. That's a hybrid that is a little bit more heat tolerant. And then there's an heirloom called Bloomsdale Savoy. Peas can be started right now from seed. Those of you who have a little bit longer of a cooler weather ahead of us can do that right now. For gardeners like me who have mild winters and our weather starts to heat up around May, June, we plant those in the fall or winter and they grow through the winter. Beets, carrots, radish, and Swiss chard can be direct sown by just about anyone right now. They are frost tolerant and they can handle more heat. So as the summer starts to heat up, those will still be okay. My favorite variety of beet is Bull's Blood. I like Rainbow Chard. For carrots, I like the Little Fingers or the Parisienne. But really with carrots, I mean, there's a lot to choose from. I just grow those because I have shorter beds and they do well in those. Radishes I don't grow a lot of because I'm not a huge fan, but they have a wide range of growing conditions as well. They do like it on the cool side and they're definitely frost tolerant, but once you start sowing them in the heat, they're a little bit harder to germinate, but they will mature as the weather heats up. Now let's get into some warm season crops. Almost everybody can start those indoors right now, but there are some, depending on where you live, that can be started right now outdoors. And if you're just about to your last frost date, but haven't quite made it there yet and still want to sow seeds outside because either you're out of room inside or you don't want to invest in a grow light, hang around to the end of the video and I'm going to show you a way to start seeds outdoors, but keep them protected. But if you're completely past your last frost date, there are some seeds that you can direct sow right now. They don't need heat to germinate and to get growing quickly. Corn is one. It does not need a lot of heat to germinate. I'm trying a hybrid corn this year called Natural Sweet F1. I've tried several heirlooms over the past few years and just haven't had luck with it. So I'm going to switch over to hybrid this year and see what I can do with it. Now, I mentioned in a previous video that if you are a beginner gardener or maybe you just moved to a new environment, new climate, hybrids are going to be your best bet to get started with because they are bred to handle a wide range of growing conditions, whereas heirlooms are a little more finicky. Now, I'm not saying heirlooms are bad. They're definitely not. Heirlooms are great to have because if you ever get into a situation where you need to save the seeds and have those come true, heirlooms are the way to go. Now, with hybrids, you're going to get corn if you save the seeds. It just might not be the best. Certainly not going to be what you originally bought. But grow some hybrids, grow a few heirlooms every year, try some different varieties, and you're going to find some heirlooms that will do well in your growing conditions. And remember, hybrids are not bad. They are just a cross between two varieties. They are not the same as GMO. And I have a video on that. I will link it down below. Pumpkins and squashes can be sowed right now outdoors. They don't need a lot of heat to germinate. So as long as you're past your last frost date, totally fine. I grew a bunch of really cool colors and shapes and sizes of pumpkins and squash last year. I got the seeds from a company called Blue Pumpkin Seed Company. And they've got so many unique varieties. It's a small business. I love supporting small businesses. So I will definitely put a link to their website down below. And they have more than pumpkins and squash. And no, they're not sponsoring this video. I just happen to love them. Green beans can also be sown after your last frost date. In fact, I just included these in a video just a few days ago about the easiest vegetables to grow. Now, some of you might be in a special category where your temperatures right now at night are above 50, 55, 65 degrees. We're not there yet. But if you are, then you can start putting in the heat levers. So in the 50s at night, you can direct sow tomatoes and eggplant. If you're into the 60s at night, then you can direct sow peppers, okra, and melons. Those last three are heat levers, and they need heat to germinate outside. You can always start them inside right now on a heat mat, and they'll be perfect to put outside once the temperatures are in the 60s and above. Now, there is that interim period, and that's where I am right now. I'm still starting certain seeds indoors, I'm starting certain seeds outdoors, but to bridge the gap, you can build a really inexpensive cold frame. I have a full video on how to build it. I will leave that link below, but let me take you outside and show you how you can use it to just give your seeds and transplants a little extra protection when you might have a chance of frost here and there. You're past most of your freeze issues, but you're not quite yet to that perfect nighttime especially, but daytime and nighttime temperature for seedlings and seeds. This is a cold frame that I built last year, and it's great for several things. Number one, for hardening off seedlings that you've grown indoors. You can put them in here, and because this can open and close, it helps keep them protected and sheltered from harsh weather, cold nights. I've also got some heat mats in here, so it does raise the ambient temperature. It's also open to this below, which soaks up heat in the daytime, releases it at night. If you want a little extra protection, you could put maybe some Christmas lights in here. They would just warm it up just a little, just to take the edge off. Everything I've got in here right now, dahlias, tomatoes, and eggplant, were all started indoors and brought out here. Now the tomatoes and dahlias, it is time to take them out. They're fine. They've been hardened off. They can be out here day or night in the weather we have right now. Then I will be using this to start some seeds like, well, for me, I'm going to be doing a lot of flower seeds in here that like nights to be around 60. I could also do the peppers in here. I'm gonna start them indoors probably though, we'll see. Okra I probably will do out here, just to get them out from under the grow light so I can use that for some other things, or turn it off completely so I'm not paying for that. Take advantage of the sunlight, take advantage of closing this up and having a little extra heat in here to take the edge off. It just has come in so handy this past year. The spring, the fall, and in the summertime, I store all my pots in here. So again, the video how to make this, it was super easy. I used almost everything was repurposed wood. The only thing that was bought was the PVC and the plastic for the cover, I think. So I will leave a link down below. I hope this video was informative. If you enjoyed it, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Share it with a gardening friend, and I'll see you next time.